Welcome to Next Level Live Design Presentations Start with Twinmotion session. Take your design presentation to the next level with this dynamic session on live design. Learn how to create real-time interactive experiences using CET and Twinmotion, giving clients an interactive, immersive preview of their future spaces. We'll explore how live design can enhance collaboration, speed up decision-making, and leave a lasting impression. You get a first-hand look at Twinmotion's powerful new configuration tool, which allows you to build multiple scene variations, toggle between design states, and control visibility all in real time. Whether your presentation of a single workstation or entire office layout, this session will help you choose the right live design approach for your project and provide practical tips for running a smooth, successful session. Don't miss this opportunity to elevate your presentation, engage your clients like never before, and stand out in a competitive market. Now let's dive into this session on live design. What is live design? By definition, is engaging in real-time collaboration with clients or internal teams transforms the design process into a dynamic and interactive experience. The ability to instantly visualize changes and explore multiple options fosters transparency and creativity. The streamlined approach minimizes errors and reduces the need for back-and-forth communication, accelerating decision-making. Most importantly, it immerses the client in the process, delivering a comprehensive and engaging design experience that builds confidence and trust. Now let's get into it. Now, what is the reality of live design with clients? There is a process to be able to make a live design session go smoothly. So first you're going to have the assessment phase, and that is going to consist of the project scope, the timeline, the budget, and what the furniture needs are. Then you're going to move on to the planning phase of what is it with the furniture. Do your primary furniture layout and some options in CET. From there, you're going to have a quote to make sure that you're on track for the project. Then within all that, you're going to do a setup. Within the setup, you're going to have all the furniture options, all the alternates, and they can be saved as alternates or as favorites. All the schemes are ready and building if needed as well. Then there's going to be a meeting that's being set up for the live design session. And that is making sure you have the date, the time, the people, and what's on the agenda to go over in that meeting for that session. Then you're going to have that meeting. And what is that meeting going to consist of is the live design session with the client. Once that meeting is complete, you're going to come back with the takeaways and finish it all up and create a final proposal and package, which will include will be renderings, not during your meeting. Here are my top best practices tips to have a successful live design session. Number 1 would be always show a 2D or 3D view in a new window. That's it. Because this way you can have one screen showing that 2D, 3D view for a client, and then on another screen that only you can see is the CET setup. That way there's no confusion of what is going on. The client is really focused on their space and on the space that you want to talk about. The other thing is be prepared. Make sure your CET file is prepared. Have blocks, have your schemes, have options that you want to showcase. And this is not just for time efficiency, but also to make sure the client stays on budget. When you're in these meetings, make sure that they're only an hour long and you focus on a specific space. This way, when you stick to that 1 hour time, you'll be able to go into it, make decisions. Anything after an hour, what will happen is the focus is no longer there. You'll get sidetracked. Decisions will not be working out for you. And anything that you can do in a live design session that can take 30 seconds or less, go do it. If you can't, put a note on the drawing itself. It shows initiative that you are going to get to this thing to the client, but you're going to do it afterwards. So if you have to create a special or something like that, do that afterwards, but leave a note. Another thing I want to iterate is it's a working session with the client. You're not rendering in there because when you render, there could be glitches, things could happen. And you're going to do those renderings, those nice renderings that can take some time, and you do that after the fact in your final presentation. Now, the reality of doing a live design session for internal working sessions, it's about the same process as it is for a client, except there's a couple of little differences. Your setup for your CET drawing does not have to be perfect. And not just that, you could go and do some more things that are not in some of the options that were talked about in the planning phase. During those meeting setups, yes, you need to have an agenda, but instead of just focusing maybe on just one area, you could focus on 2 or 3. And that is because those meetings can be longer. It could go up to 2 hours. I do not suggest longer than 2 hours, because then you're going to get like decision fatigue from it. But you can go further because it is very much a working session, and it's easier when it's, I'll say, a designer with a salesperson. Now, I do strongly believe these working sessions are really important, and they do really function really well. I used to work with a sales rep, and she was notorious for having so many different options. When I mean so many different options, I mean for a simple office, you can have 20 different versions of it. And at the end of the day, she was not even probably going to show all 20 versions to the client. However, when we did a live design session, instead of creating 20 different versions, I took those 20 versions and made them only 3 maximum. And all 3 of those did get shown to the client. So it helps cut down all that decision back and forth waste of time, and it becomes more efficient that way. Here's an option of side by side of what the client or salesperson could see versus what you will see. So you're going to show a 2D or 3D version. It helps focus on what they want to see, and it helps give an overall view. This way you can see that it's less crowded, there's less buttons and tools and everything else like that. And as someone is talking about this space and how it's working in, and then you can zoom in on certain areas. And while that is zoomed in, you go gently, that'll cause nausea. And then on your end, you're there going to go and put the right things in the right spot. So let's just say you want to go and switch out the workstation. So you do a copy paste because your workstation options are already at a block, and you just need to quickly fix that out. Now, this is all being done in less than 30 seconds because it's easy. You're just going to place it easily. So all those little movements and stuff that you do on the right-hand side, which we are completely used to, is not bad. To the client, they're okay. They're not nauseous or anything else like that. And then all they see is that change being done. The other thing is what you can do is also do some finishes. You can do the finish option on your side, and then all they're going to see is that change happening on their window. However, you can also do it on their view so they can see the different colors and finishes that can be put on a certain product. So this is also great to be able to pick different finishes right there with the client right away. You can also do live design in Twinmotion. So you're still going to keep the practical tips from what we just spoke about, but there are going to be 4 other key aspects. So with this version, you're going to have both CET and Twinmotion running simultaneously. The client preferably will only see the Twinmotion view, and all the changes that you do in CET, you sync it up with Twinmotion using that direct link. However, this is more powerful to your computer, so you do need a high-performing laptop PC. So during the live design session, this is what your Twinmotion will look like. You'll have all your files set up as a direct link. You can easily make changes, and it will change it back into your Twinmotion file. You'll have all your layers set up for easy access onto the right. When you're going to navigate in this space, I do suggest either drone or pedestrian mode if you're doing a closer look, and also changing the speed to more of a walking speed. So it's a lot more smoother and slower for people to understand. Because there's a good chance that you're going to be talking to people who this is something very different for them to experience. Now within here, you have the library, and you do have materials already in there, and you can use them more generic type of situation to load into your drawing for quick adjustments. You can also have your own library set up there. Now within CET, you're going to have your file ready for the drawing that you're going to be discussing, the different options. And within there, like I suggest, do have blocks. It makes it a lot more easier to adjust everything in there. So within the block, you can go and see all the details and have a conversation with the client about what is going to be needed to adjust. And if we go back to Twinmotion, instead of seeing this view for the client, I do suggest doing the full screen. It's a much cleaner look as well. And while the conversation is happening with this on one screen, you can open up your CT on the other screen and make those adjustments as needed. For instance, here, we're going to get rid of the dividing panels and change the finish on the chair. Now, once some of the decisions are done, you're going to go back into the main drawing. And this is very important. If you do not go back into the main drawing before you hit that Start Twinmotion or Update Changes button, all that's going to be seen in Twinmotion is that block. Other items can be removed. And I do suggest trying to do as many changes in one time so you have less of a waiting time for it to direct link back into Twinmotion. So once it's done, when you go to see Twinmotion, you'll start to see the changes appear. Now, if you don't see them right away, just zoom in and out, and then the direct link will finish its linking. You can go back into it. And then you can be able to go and explore this space with all the new changes done. And because it was a block, all those changes happened to all the workstations. What is the configuration tool in Twinmotion? Twinmotion's configuration tool empowers users to create interactive presentations that showcase multiple variations of a project, whether architectural scenes or product designs. By defining different states within a configuration, you can easily switch between options such as material finishes, object visibility, environmental ambiance, and asset properties. These real-time 3D experiences enhance design reviews and client presentations, allowing seamless comparison with a simple click or on a trigger icon. Configurations can be explored in editor mode, full screen, or through local cloud presentations, making them a dynamic and engaging way to communicate design intent. Live design in Twinmotion with configuration tool can be different than other live design options that you have. You're still creating the furniture file in CET and the different options in CET. What is different is that you're going to be doing those different options in different CET files, especially if you're going to be changing a lot of different spaces. This will allow less manipulation once you're in Twinmotion. You're still going to put the building, add the finishes, add the lighting. What's going to be different is all these options, you're going to set it up already. And that's with the configuration tool. So you can, all those little buttons can be the different furniture options in there. It can be the different ambiances from day to nighttime. There can be different finishes or placement, all different things. But what is different is the design doesn't have to be there with Twinmotion open and showcasing everything because it's already built in together. You can actually upload the presentation with the configuration tool already there into the cloud. And with that can be accessed through a QR code or a link. And that can be given to a sales presentation with the client or can be given to the client as a takeaway. So what does this look like for your client? So whether it's on the Twinmotion screen or the cloud, it'll look like this. So at the bottom, you're going to have the different options that you want to showcase. So the first one here is what the actual building looks like, and then just switching to doing a mix and match, not doing a full change. So here you can just change just the workstation cubicles for newer ones, or replacing the offices with lounge furniture. This is more of a hybrid version. Now here we're going to do something a little bit different, where it's going to be more all new. So this is all new, just with workstations and lounge. This is also putting in collaborative spaces with mixed in within the workstations. This is a different type of workstation. And the other one is also creating more workstations with managers, so two different types of workstations, plus lounge. Now within all this, you can also adjust it so you can actually move within the space as well while you're doing the toggling between the different options. So if you're on the computer, you can actually do this within Twinmotion itself as a full screen and go into pedestrian mode to give it more at eye level. And you'll move around the space as if you're a human moving around the space. So if there's obstacles, you're going to either walk on top of them, like stand on a chair, or bump into walls. Like so. But you can easily see more up close what those different options are going to be. And you can toggle between the view of what it used to be and what it could be. And by having this more interactive, it gives the client a bit more fun to really explore what the new space could be. And it could be a full plan or it could just be a workstation, but it gives them more feeling of being involved in the process. Also switch afterwards in drone mode to go and see more of a bird's eye view of the space, or even just to go in and zoom into a different location that you want to focus on. Now, I talked about different types of live design. Now, which live design is the right choice? So if you're going to do a live design session, you need to decide what are you doing? Are you doing a workstation or are you doing a floor plan? And within both of those situations, you're going to have different types of projects. You're going to have a high priority project versus a standard project. Now, the difference between the high and a standard project is what is going to generate a significant amount. Is it going to lead to a project, to even more projects down the line? Is it going to give visibility? Is this a client that you're trying to convince to go with you versus a competitor? No matter what it is, you need to decide where that standing point is between the two types of projects. If it's something that's more of a lower budget project, you may not want to spend that extra resources and time going into, I'll say, the Twinmotion, the configuration tool. You may do a little bit of CET live design instead. Now, if you do decide that, hey, this is a high priority project, there are different levels to the high priority project. Is it just go into CET, but instead of just being the floor plan, there's some walls built into it? Do you have a 3D file from the client where you can showcase it easier by uploading it into Twinmotion and the CET file? Go ahead. Is it something that you're going to build from scratch? Is it something that you want to use a configuration tool to have that wow in a sales pitch presentation or to give as a giveaway? Because like I said, if you upload this to the cloud, you can have a link or QR code. And if you leave that with the client in the presentation or as a business card situation, gets them involved and it makes you stand out. Now, I didn't dive into how to use the configurator tool and how to set it up within Twinmotion, but here are my top 4 resources that do give step-by-step on how to use them. And in the PDF version, they are clickable. Thank you for coming to this session. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions.